It got started in 1944 to 45 in Live Oak, Florida. It was named the Progressive Voters League of Florida. It was not statewide, however, it was just localized. Well, after several years, I think around 1957, 58, the Voters League then with L.V. Davis got involved. L.D. was a black elected official in Gainesville, very first one. He then became the president. It was Florida Voters League, wasn't inked at that point. So after that, it went from 1958, it went to 1959, and then it became Florida Voters League, and it was reincorporated in 1965 in Hillsborough County Court in Tampa, Florida. It then became Florida Voters League, Inc. However, L.V. Davis was a county commissioner up in Gainesville. I was then selected and appointed the second vice president. Then I'm not sure who the first vice president, but I moved from the second vice president to the first vice president down in 1958, 1960, 65. Well, then I was nominated and subsequently elected president of the Florida Voters League in Hillsborough County in Florida. And the Voters League then had members all over Florida. Every county had a chapter, meaning the chapter would be whatever county was from. We had in Hillsborough County, we had Alachua County, we had on the west coast there. It was that one on the big west coast we call, what's the name of that little town on the tip end of Florida?
Key West?
No, Key West south. This is on west, west of I-10 going. I'm getting a little bit, so much been going on.
Pensacola?
Huh?
Pensacola?
Pensacola.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Escambia County Voters League. And then at the Escambia County Voters League, it became one. We had one in Leon County. We had one in, Hamilton County. I said that one. We had one in Hamilton. We had one, obviously, in doggone Live Oak. That had to be, that's where Swanee County. And then Perry was, I guess, Taylor County. And then we had one in, it was all over. And had Alachua County. And they had chapters. And once I became president, we started establishing chapters throughout Florida. And all the way to South Florida. We went from all the way down to Perry. That's the real roughneck. I think about that stuff. But in the meantime, we just kept going and building a little bit at a time. And once we became incorporated, we started expanding. And we incorporated in Hillsborough County. Then we moved on down South Florida. South Florida has never been really as popular as it was. So we went on down to Palm Beach County, better known as Riviera Beach, and had a president down there in the local chapter, and he was from Gainesville, and he certainly was there for a long time. And then we moved on down, and we never was able to get one in Miami-Dade County. So what we ended up doing, we did get one established under my leadership down in Key West. When Key West, Mr. Thomas, you may have been the one to go with us, went to Key West, and that's with Norma Shorter. You remember her?
Right.
That's why we established one there. So we just kind of expanded. Jacksonville had a big one. And we didn't get a whole lot on the east coast of Florida, not much on the west coast. And so we've been to Orlando. We went there in Orlando. And we meet at Beef and Bartle. And the guy, Bruden, who was I think he was the funeral home director. He was one of the presidents down there. But I was still the president. And that's where we'd meet. In fact, with Jimmy Carter, he became Jimmy Who. Jimmy Who. And so as a result of it then, Jimmy Who, he came to our meeting. We knew him. Mr. Holt, who was used to first vice president, he didn't ever want to be president. He kept me out there. And so Jimmy Carter then, right now I'm still part of his group. He got those doggone foundation and Habitat for Humanity. I'm on his board as we speak. They're on his board, and that's been a long time when Jimmy Carter got elected. And so it just moved on. Gainesville has been pretty difficult. And when we couldn't get an organization, what we did then was we went on and got at-large members. At-large members then were in fact people that there was not an organization. We got the at-large members and got them involved, and then they represented that county. And that's how we got the at-large members. We got the necessary paraphernalia, the brochures that can verify that, and that's how we got those counties that we did not have a chapter, at-large members. They had the same privilege, obviously, they didn't have an organization, but that's who we used for the membership in all those other counties. And I guess it has such a long history, and I've been a president for a long time. And obviously now, the only reason I relinquished that role, and we got the current president, he's just a name, but I'm the chairman of the board, as you well know. And that still goes, because if it didn't, it wouldn't exist. So I guess the best thing to do is let y'all ask some questions, and I can kind of fill in them. And because it has a long history.
Tell me some of the things that the Voters League got involved in under your leadership in
The
the
very
early,
first
early
thing,
days.
we did not march with Martin Luther King. What we did, we became, we were chosen to get involved in voter registration and voter education. We did not go to St. Augustine, but we got a grant by way of the State Voters League from the Ford Foundation, about $4,000, maybe $5,000. And we had registration drives all over Florida. I coordinated that, and it was very, very successful. It's one of those grants that you don't pay back, like a CPDG grant type stuff. And we had them all over. And that's what we used to get out there. And we had the slogan was, "Vote the rascals out." That's what we used as a slogan. We've never been super successful in South Florida. Miami was kind of a difficult area. But West Palm Beach, well, the other little town is a little bit more, a little bit too classic. But we concentrate primarily on the rural counties. And we had a registration drive. And we got the money, and we paid for them to go and help get people registered to vote. That's a long history. That was in '65, when, yeah. And I was the one.
Riviera Beach was that.
Exactly. And Riviera Beach, we had a good group there.
Separate from the Palm Beaches.
Yeah, Palm Beaches, yeah. But we couldn't get it out of West Palm Beach as such. And then, as a result of it, the Palm Beaches, we ended up going to Riviera Beach. But they named it Palm Beach of the. Look over there. There is a plexiglass. There's a plexiglass over there. Let's see what the year is on. Right over there somewhere.
It's the Palm chapter of the Palm Beaches.
Yeah, it's right there behind that stuff there where those curtains are. It's kind of like a. What year was that thing? Yeah, what'd that say?
This is 2008.
Okay, that's recent. But it wouldn't go way back further than that.
The Voters League of the Palm Beaches.
Yeah.
Honors Eugene A. Poole, outstanding leadership and loyalty to the league and members.
Now did that include Riviera Beach?
Yeah.
They were included in that.
That was Riviera Beach. Palm Beach never did have one. It was always West Palm Beach was too doggone clannish. It was real clannish.
Okay.
And that was even before then. That was the most recent one. I think must have spoken down there for that to come be given. And that's what that one's all about. I think that's where, because my secretary was Ingram, Dorothy, mom, and went from Riviera Beach, and down in that area, and that's where it was, and that his name was Ingram. See, Dorothy is in fact, she's also my goddaughter, but her daddy was a guru. He was a representative from the Voters League of the Palm Beaches. But it was always Riviera Beach. It's just Palm Beach to put it there. I didn't have anything to do with it. We didn't want to put it. Well, then during that interim period, we picked up a boy by the name of Roosevelt Harris. Roosevelt Harris came in. He was one of those guys who was in the basement, and all he did was on the staff for Doyle Connor. And that's all he did. He went throughout the state of Florida.
Who's Doyle Connor?
Agriculture Commission forever.
All right.
He lasted a long time. Okay. And then he had a henchman. And you know, the henchman was Roosevelt. So Roosevelt he's downstairs, and what he was there for, primarily, to go all over Florida and get all the black votes that he could get. Roosevelt then became a board member. The next thing what he did was, he had voted at Florida Voters League. he went and decided to go. He wanted to change the whole everything. Well, I was president, but I wouldn't let him do it. I would not allow him to do that. And he went there, and after he couldn't do it that way, ended up being Florida Voters League. But what he had was, it was Florida Voters League, Florida State Voters League, and I got necessary paperwork. And then, but see, we were Florida Voters League Inc. And we were in fact incorporated. And then once he found out that he didn't exist as such, well, then he had to bail out. Well, unfortunately, he got killed. And that's what happened with that one. But it was Florida State, we are Florida Voters League Inc. Reincorporated, and you can be assured, I got, right now I'm sending off that thing to the Secretary of State, Florida Department of State for 501c3. Yep, I got it right there, and I'm going to send it off probably tomorrow. Already filled it out. I got the check, so we 501c3. Well, Roosevelt had to bail out. And he had an old boy that, of course, in Jacksonville was named Josh Hillman. He was everywhere. Always looking for exposure and looking for the cotton picking prestige that went with it. But then what he did, he was smart. He realized he made a lot of money. But he was an affiliate of the Florida Voters League. He was an affiliate. And he would always pay his dues. But he had people believing he had a great organization. He didn't have no Josh Hillman. That's Jacksonville. See, those them boys come out there looking for any opportunity to get the exposure and get a little bit of, I don't know, prestige. I don't know. But he'd always pay his dues now. But yet he was a state organization. Was making a lot of money. Not money was not part of it for me. I dole a lot of money out to make sure the organization it does serve a purpose, people respect it, and they know that's just the way it is. I guess the best thing I can talk to Don much, as so much went on. I can go ahead and answer a lot of questions, and you can do what you have to do.
How did the Voters League fare with gubernatorial candidates?
Very well. Bob Graham was a solid. Marvin Davis worked for Bob Graham, and Marvin Davis was head of the NAACP statewide. And so Governor Graham, we started out, he and Governor Childs, they are strong advocates and supporters of the Voters League as we speak.
As well as some of the senatorial
candidates? Almost all of them. Democrats, that is. But we were nonpartisan, but you know what that meant.
I know the Senator Bill Nelson.
Right now, in fact of it, he came to one of our conventions, and we had it here in Ocala. We'd have the convention biennial. That's when we have our convention biennial. And he would come. In fact, that was that. I think
also speaking for the Voters League in Orange County chapter.
Yep, that's true. That's true.
Convention.
And the old Bill Nelson come there, and when the electric slide came out, Suzy Q, that's what we called it, and Bill Nelson was here in Ocala, and I think it was that we used to have our convention right there on 27th. That place was doggone it was owned by Steinbrenner. He owned it. See, you got a boys baseball team, and and I had a semi-pro baseball team all over the state. Beat everybody from from Miami to Atlanta to Montgomery, Alabama. But all my baseball equipment, I'll show you some of the trophies we got, that landed us is because of that guy. He was the guru, but he owned everything. His horse farm, but he used to own that thing was called the right there now it's Hotel 6, but Ramada. Right? That's where we'd have a lot of our activities.
Let me ask you this: in doing your job as president of the Voters League, have you run into any resistance from various groups, from certain groups?
No, unfortunately, no, because everybody knows me. See, I'm one of those. It's not self-serving to me. It's I help our people to let us become part of the process. Let us go ahead and distribute, get people registered to vote. We don't endorse, but we recommended candidate based on our findings. No, personally, I got prestige out of it because I was involved in so much of it. But,
so nobody's ever tried to thwart your efforts in registering voters or getting legislation?
One group out of Southwest Florida. Now I got guy sent me from Mercedes-Benz. I don't know who that guy. I ain't talking about that gal now down in Inverness. But this guy sent me a check of from Mercedes-Benz. Must have been around $2,700. Said this is for you in the Voters League. Well, what I did was I took every bit of it and scattered every chapter we had in Florida That's where I went on and spread out to all of them to help get elected. And that guy, I don't even know, it's an anonymous giver, but it's like $2,700. But I spread to every state league we had, they was certainly a recipient in equal amounts. And we would put out every year, we'd put out a doggone news, every other month. It would call the Florida Voter League Bull Sheet. And we put out, because that's when we had that grant, it was called Florida Voter League Bull Sheet. I got it back there, that witch and burn it up, but in some way I got to find it. Now I know what you want, I can find it. But no, personally, I've been successful in life. A lot of jobs, involved in a lot. I don't get paid for that stuff. This is strictly non-pay. But you know what? It does give us a real option to help improve the quality of life. That's what it's all about with me.
You mentioned we didn't endorse candidates, but how did we rate candidates? We rated candidates
based on their participation, based on what they were doing.
You sent out letters of
yes, sir.
Questionnaires.
They would recommend it. They recommended. We did not endorse.
And if you didn't get a letter back, you would rate him in a particular category.
No response
and
type.
The way he answered the questions, or the way you rated that candidate.
Yes, sir. But we thought that person is your choice. That's how I would leave it. It's your choice.
Can you tell us a little bit about your history and past experiences leading up to the Voter's League before you joined the Voter's League? What type of social justice programs were you involved in before?
Veterans.
Okay.
Veteran activities by the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So I went from E1 to an E9 plus.
Okay.
When I got hurt in '95, I was the command sergeant major for the 429th Medical Battalion.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of that then, hey, I was everywhere. I had troops from Atlanta to Miami. I had 4,000 troops. You'll see that over there. And I got LOM. Most people talk about it, Purple Heart. I got LOM, Legion of Merit.
Okay.
But see, my advantage has been is to help our people enjoy the benefit of their vote. One vote makes a difference. And I'll send out letters now during the election and recommend we don't influence nobody. We don't force or just kind of mandate that people go ahead and vote for this candidate. Our recommendation based on, I don't know, now since I know, I start looking for some of that stuff in the kind of letters I send out, or I got some as recent as this past election. We get involved.
Okay.
We get involved and send them.
All right.
And I've had so much success, success with employment. I really haven't had, I didn't have no need. Now if you're greedy, not me, it's not me, it's our group.
Mm-hmm.
It's our group. And see, when I got banged up and got to the point where I kind of, my mobility, when I don't drive no more, well then I've had to cut back on a lot of that stuff. But that boy's not going to do good. He likes the prestige, that's Curtis. And the boy really is my nephew.
Mm-hmm.
But he's my wife's sister's boy, but he stayed at a distance.
Okay.
So I don't fool with him. All the letters be sent, I send them.
Mm-hmm.
I send all the letters to everybody. No, I pay the expense. Voter League is not a profitable organization.
Right.
No, we don't try to change this. Hey, we get the right people like that, and that's what you do.
Have you ever gotten frustrated in terms of Marion County? Because if you look at the government of Marion County, you have a lot of people that I would say, to say the least, are not really supportive of minorities or minorities.
Well said.
Has that caused you frustration, or
yes,
what
it
have
does.
you done about it?
It does, but I still make an effort to send out the notification or send out our recommendation. There's not one Democrat elected, nothing in Marion County, not one. It bothers me, yes, but I got news for you. They know if I call, I'll have to tell you, they're going to listen. They're going to say, Mr. Poole, we'll do what we can to get it straightened out. They don't give me any static, because I can talk a little bit louder than they can talk. But not one elected official, Democrat elected in Marion County, not one. It does frustrate. Let me see that.